Hey, everybody.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How you guys doing this Wednesday evening? Hopefully, everybody is doing great. We're Will and Faith Scott. We get to the root, health and wellness. Want to welcome you guys to another episode of Healthy Habits, Healthy Life. This is where we come and we talk about how our choices actually creates habits, and our habits help us to develop our lifestyle. So this evening, we got a great topic we wanted to bring to you this evening. And what we want to do from week to week is just bring portions of different things that will help us to succeed and to become better and live a better and healthier lifestyle, which is what all of us want, right?
That's right.
We all want a better lifestyle. So, we're embarking upon the spring season now. Everybody, it should be happy spring going. We sprung our clocks forward. So let's go on and bounce into the spring atmosphere. So I'm going to turn it over to Queen, let her talk a little bit to you, and welcome again for joining us this evening.
Hey, everybody. Look, all I want to say is thank you for joining us. If it is your first time joining us, go ahead on and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're Will and Faith. We love to come and inspire and motivate and educate you to choose a healthy lifestyle. Why?
Yes.
Because our health is our wealth.
That's right.
Your health is your wealth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanting to connect with like-minded individuals that is on this same journey as you, is choosing a healthy life, go ahead on, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with family and friends, okay? And we're gonna walk this journey together.
Absolutely.
I'm super excited because Wednesdays is one of my favorite days of the weeks where we come live and Dr. Will come and just give us some news we can use. That's what I like to say.
That's right.
So if you're chiming in with us live, go ahead on and give us a quick shout out. Let us know where you're chiming in from. We already have Miss Jody Rose. She's Get to the Root family. So we're gonna give her a shout out there.
Jody.
Hey Jody, how you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Always look forward to these great information and motivation.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Jody. Thank you. We needed that.
Yes, we did.
Your encouragement gives us strength. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. All right. So Dr. Will.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your topic for tonight?
Well, the topic for tonight, before I even get into the topic for tonight, is a couple of things I want to kind of segue into that. And then we're going to talk about the topic itself. So some of you may have heard people say, hey, I need somebody to motivate me. Somebody may have heard that. You may have said it yourself. I know I've said it myself. Man, I need somebody to help motivate me. Yes. And then I've also said things like, I need some motivation. Right. Okay. And but that's going to be our topic tonight. We're going to talk about motivation. Okay. It's not going to be long and drawn out. However, motivation can really get diverse and very deep. Based on the research that I've been doing about motivation, I think you're going to really enjoy and understand what motivation is and why we choose certain things in life, why we choose certain goals in life, why we choose to do certain things, whether it's exercise or not exercise. And but it really intrigued me when I started really researching motivation and what it does and how it develops and what it's about and what is motivation. So we're going to talk about those things tonight. So it's going to be really nice. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you have any questions, go on, feel free to put them in the toggle. We're going to try to get those questions answered. So motivation is our topic tonight. So hopefully after this presentation, you won't be saying, hey, I need somebody to motivate me anymore. And you probably won't be saying I need to be motivated because this is going to actually share with you about motivation and where it actually comes from. Okay. And it really doesn't come from another person. So I think you're going to be really intrigued when you see that.
Wait a minute. So you saying when I say we're here to inspire and motivate?
Yes.
That you just took the wind out and said
well, not necessarily. But that's a good point. That's a good point that Queen's talking about. She said that when we say we come to motivate, and we do. So based on the different types of motivation, you're going to find out how that topic is totally true of what Queen is saying. Okay. So it depends on what type of motivation you're thinking about when you're applying that topic that Queen is talking about. Meaning that we're coming to motivate you. Okay. So, but you're going to find out though, is through the goals. So I won't let the cat out the bag. Hey, Tom, how you doing? All right, Tom. We've been enjoying your meals, Tom. We've been enjoying your meals. Yes, yes. Hello, it's good to see you, Tom. As always, my friend.
Right.
Okay, so let's go on. I'm gonna try to share my PowerPoint here. Okay. I'm doing the driving tonight.
All right.
And let's see if I can get that up there. All right. So hopefully you can see that. Motivation. Motivation, it's right inside you. So that's a very important topic that you see there. So let's go on and get into the agenda. Okay. And let me get my clicker here going. Okay. So, all right, let me go into another. Here we go. Good. So on our agenda, we're going to talk about what is motivation. We're going to talk about the different drives and motives of motivation, which are biological and some are social and psychological mechanisms. Okay. Those are the two drives, and motives of motivation. Okay. Meaning the reason why we do what we do, what motivates us. Well, what motivates us is drives and motives. Okay. We're also going to get into the types of motivations, which is intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And then we're going to just sum it all up together, and hopefully we'll gain a better understanding of what motivation is, how we can use motivation. We actually use it anyway. We just don't really probably realize it or recognize it. But after this discussion this evening, I think you'll understand how in everything we do almost, there's a motivation behind it. Okay. All right. So we got that. So let's go into our next slide. We're going to go into what is motivation. And this is, I'm glad you asked me that question. So I'm going to go ahead on and click on it. So what is motivation? So motivation actually is an incentive or reason for doing something. That's basically all motivation is. It's a reason or an incentive for doing something. So motivation actually describes our wants and needs, and it directs our behavior toward a specific goal. So that's what it does. So motivation is something that, some type of incentive or reason for doing something. That's motivation. And then also motivation describes the wants or needs that direct behavior to a specific goal. Okay. So psychologists, what we do is we believe that the primary root, and when you hear this, some of you may have read this book called The Pleasure Trap. Okay. By Dr. Doug Lyle and Dr. Alan Goldheimer. So when I started doing my research, I found out how closely related motivation is to something that was in that book. So once I tell you about it, so psychologists believes that the primary root of motivation is to, number one, optimize well-being. Okay, that's the primary root. One of the primary roots of motivation is to optimize well-being. The other one is to minimize pain, okay, minimize physical pain to be more specific, and maximize pleasure. Okay. So if you think about that, if you read that book, The Pleasure Trap, that sounds very similar to the motivational triad or triad. It sounds very well. Those motivational triads is number one, seeking pleasure, right, conserving energy, and avoiding pain. Okay, so they're very, very similar to each other. They're interwoven into each other. So I just want to let you know too that motivation is driven by goals. Okay, that's where motivation comes from. It actually is driven by goals. Okay, so yes, you can switch the screen. Thank you. Yes. So motivation is driven by goals. Okay. So there are two, and we're going to talk about goals here real quickly, but there are two actual mechanisms that are tied to goals. Okay. So these two mechanisms that affect our motivational goals are biological drives. Okay. And social and psychological mechanisms. Okay, so let's talk about these two mechanisms real quick, these motivation mechanisms. Okay, first let's talk about the drives, which are the biological drives. Okay, these biological drives are things that are pretty physical. Okay, you think about thirst, hunger, sleepiness, and even the need to reproduce. All of those are biological factors that actually sets our goals up while we do certain things and motivate us to do certain things. You're motivated to do things based on your thirst. Okay, if you're thirsty, you're motivated to what? Get something to drink, right? You know, if you're hungry, of course, to eat. And then if you're sleepy, you know, get you some rest. And then all of us are put here, whether you want kids or not, or have children or not, all of us are put here to what? Reproduce. And we all have that innate ability within all of us that we all want that. We all want to reproduce ourselves. We want to reproduce our genes. Okay. So it's in us. You may not actually believe that. You may not actually want that. But that's a primary goal of us as being human beings. Okay. All right. Then we have the social and the psychological mechanisms. They're geared more towards work, family, and relationships. Okay. So your social and your psychological: work, family, and relationships. So for the most part, these two mechanisms determine our goals. Okay. And our motivation for accomplishing these goals. They're based on those basic two motivational mechanisms. So you have the first one, which is biological drives. The second one is social and also psychological mechanisms. Okay. All right. So let's get a better understanding of how the motivation works. Okay. We're going to go into our two basic types of motivation. So the first one is intrinsic motivation. So what is intrinsic motivation? All right. I'm glad you asked me that. So an intrinsic motivation, these behaviors are generated by the sense of personal satisfaction. Okay. And that's where it comes from, something that's within you. Okay. I'll give you an example of that. You know, a queen just gets satisfaction out of cooking. Now, a lot of people get satisfaction out of seeing people eat, which is more geared towards another type of motivation. But an intrinsic motivation is personal satisfaction. She just gets satisfaction out of just cooking in general, seeing these recipes come together and how they look and all of that. So for her own self-satisfaction, and I'm sure she probably do it also to satisfy, you know, other people in the family and all of that. But basically, deep down inside, why she really cook all the time, if you will, and put together these recipes and invent recipes, basically because of an intrinsic motivation. It's something that she like to do regardless on the inside. Okay, it's all built from the inside out, right? And it's actually driven by interest or enjoyment in the task itself. So she likes just cooking and putting things together just to do it. All right. So that's an intrinsic type motivation. So let me give you another example of intrinsic motivation. This is not intrinsic motivation is not driven by outside sources or social sources or anything like that. So let's say if you was in college, right? You was in college because you enjoy learning. All right. You like to learn. You think it's going to help you to become a more well-rounded individual. So you're intrinsically motivated. Okay. You're motivated from the inside out. All right. So that's where that comes from, which is, I tell you, it is really, really good. Okay. I mean, to be intrinsically motivated. All right. So hopefully you got an understanding of the intrinsic motivation. All right. And the other motivation we have, the other factor we have is called extrinsic motivation. Okay. So on extrinsic motivation, this type of motivation is motivated by behaviors that performed in order to receive some type of reward or even some type of punishment. Okay. But you're going to receive something from others. Okay. Something that you'll receive. You're doing this because you're doing it not just from something from the inside out, something that you have a burning desire for, but you're doing this because you want to get that recognition. Okay. So let me give you a very easy example of why most of us are extrinsically motivated to go to a job. Okay. Probably it's not because you love the job, but it's probably more important because you're going to get paid for what you do at the job. Okay, so you're getting a reward of a paycheck. All right. And that's why you go to that job, and that's why you do certain things. So you're being extrinsically motivated to go because you're going to reap the reward of a paycheck at the end of whatever time frame you get paid at. All right. So let's look at another aspect of that. What about working out? Okay, certain people have a desire just to work out, and they just love just working out. Doesn't matter really how they look. But I can probably tell you that on a higher percentage, most people like the way they look. They like the way they feel. But most likely, if they like the way they like the way they look towards other people. Okay, so let's get a little bit more in depth about that. It's not just necessarily how they look to themselves, because that's more intrinsically, but motivated. But they like for other people to come say, "Oh, wow, man, you look buff," or "Wow, you getting into that dress," or whatever it is. So you're getting the reward and you're getting the reception from other people. So you're extrinsically motivated to work out and to do certain things. Let me give you another example of that. So think about an athlete. Many athletes, they like to are driven by like winning and the goal of winning and beating the competition. And also not only that, but what? Receiving praise from the fans. So, they like that reward. They like that feeling. Okay. Now, those are all extrinsically motivated. Okay. And believe me, it's not something that's intrinsic. They like it because it's extrinsically motivated. So one thing I want to tell you about the motivation, though, is that our motivations are mixed. Okay, so that you can leave it right there, Queen. Okay. So our motivations are mixed. Okay, they're mixed with both intrinsic and extrinsic factors. Okay, so you have both. We have both in us. All right, and it depends on whatever our goals are. So understand, first of all, is that our goals is going to drive our motivation. Okay, and whatever that goal is, intrinsically or extrinsically, that's where the motivation comes from. So it doesn't necessarily come from a person. It actually comes from a goal. Okay. And there are different types of goals out there. You have performance goals. You have all these other types of goals. You have different things and dreams and things that you want to do. But as far as your motivation goes, it's all driven towards that goal and how important that goal is to you. And now, if it's important to you, just you yourself, whatever that goal is, I want to cook a fantastic meal today. That's fine. That's intrinsic. But then you may have a goal of making sure your family is totally fed and satisfied and love the food you're cooking. That's more of an extrinsic. So you get your satisfaction from people that give you that, hey, you know what? Thank you so much. That meal was fantastic. So that's what elevates you. Okay. So when you're looking at motivation, you want to look at the goal behind the motivation, and that should be able to help you to stay motivated, if you will, which actually is going to do what? Drive your success or drive your demise of that goal. Okay. So it's going to be driven based on how you feel intrinsically or extrinsically in regards to your motivation. Okay. So hopefully that gave you, that's it. That's it. So hopefully, within a nutshell, I gave you some good information about a couple of different motivational factors. Okay, you have either or types of motivations, either intrinsically or extrinsically. Then you know that it's all goal driven. It's all based on your goals. And then also you have drives and motives for those goals. Okay, you have biological factors in there. Then you have social, and you have psychological mechanisms that are tied. So the biological are like thirst, hunger, sleepiness, the need to reproduce. And then your social and your psychological can be your work, your family, and relationships. Okay. So just want to give you some heads up about motivation.
So yes, as far as our health go, some people, and we're all wired differently.
Yes.
Some people are just healthy conscious. You know, they are, and make sure I'm using the right word, is that intrinsically driven because they don't want to deal with the pain of being sick or the discomfort of being, they just want that abundant life. Some of us need pain to drive us to motivate to do different, right? So how would that play in with us becoming healthy, being motivated? Why is it so hard for some of us, even when we find ourselves sick, to get motivated to do something different, or to become healthier?
Well, think about it when you come back to your first question, when you were saying that a person that may want to gain health, but you said that they're sick enough? They're not sick enough?
Well, some people don't have to be, sickness don't drive them.
Right.
It's just the state of well-being drives them to continue to take care of themselves.
Right.
So I'm just
so
talking
that's
about
more.
health.
So that's more intrinsic.
Intrinsic.
Yeah,
okay.
That's more intrinsic.
Okay.
It's not something, because think about it. Think about it like this. What Queen was just saying is it's not something that someone's going to be able to see. Basically, okay, it's all done from the inside out. Okay, that health. All right. Now they will see you have lost weight, but you go back to the goal. Right. If the goal is to lose weight, then you extrinsically motivated, because when people come to you and they say, oh, wow, you look like you're losing weight, but at the same time, you're gaining health. OK, so they're seeing the weight loss. They're not seeing the health gain. OK, so that's something from the inside out. What's keeping you going? Is it the weight loss that's keeping you going? Or is it just having that satisfaction of being healthy from the inside? Okay. Now we can go even a step further. You can say, hey, I want to gain health because the next time I go to the doctor, I want good vitals. Now, is that intrinsically or extrinsically? Well, you're going to get a reward from the labs. Okay. The labs are going to let you know that you're doing well on the health path, right? So that's a reward that you want to get. Or I want to see a lower blood pressure. So again, you're looking at the reward. Okay. So now you're more extrinsically motivated, you see, versus intrinsically. It started intrinsically, but then after you got your reward, now it's extrinsically. Because that's what I was saying earlier or later in the presentation, that we have both. You have intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And that's a very good example of how that's tied together, how those both motivational types are tied to each other. Yes.
That's good. All right. Mr. Thomas is wait, did I miss something? I'm sorry.
We had a couple.
I'm sorry. Let me go back up, Mr. Tom. All right, there we go. All right. I guess I could say I was motivated to quit smoking because I finally got scared enough about how it was affecting my health. So going back to what you were saying earlier about the pleasure trap, or the motivational triage.
Yes.
What was the key things that drive us to change or motivate us to do something different? Avoiding pain.
Yes.
Seeking pleasure.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
Yeah.
Avoiding pain.
You had avoiding pain, seeking pleasure, and you want to minimize pain, seeking pleasure, and optimize well-being.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Tom, the fear of the pain that you was going to go through, right, as a result of you smoking was enough motivation for you to quit smoking.
Correct.
So the avoidance of pain drove you or motivated you to make a change. And I think there's no right or wrong about this. It's whatever it takes to get you there. Right. Is what's up. So kudos to you
congratulations
for
Tom.
Stopping the smoking.
So that's an intrinsic motivation. So from an extrinsic standpoint, let's say that we was around a lot of people and how society is now where most people don't smoke and you did continue to smoke. So extrinsically, you were hanging around your friends, but you don't want your friends to be turned off because you're a smoker. So you would use that as a motivation to not smoke while you was around those friends. So that's extrinsic motivation. So the intrinsic motivation was what you did because of the fear of affecting your health. Extrinsically would have been if you was hanging around friends that didn't smoke and you was the only one that was smoking, yet when you got around those friends, you didn't smoke because you didn't want to offend them. And then also you didn't want to be different than what your friends were. So you was extrinsically motivated not to smoke while you was around those group of friends.
Okay, great. One more comment from Mr. Tom.
Yes.
He said, and slowly getting motivated to change my eating habits.
That's wonderful.
Normally, I think when we get on that journey to health, it started with you smoking, and now it's getting into your lifestyle and the way that you're eating. It's a journey.
It is.
It's a journey. There's no cookie cutter.
Nope.
There's no right or wrong. There's no you got to do it this way or no success. It's just keep doing better. Keep striving to do better, to make healthy habits, like healthy choices, to create healthy habits so we can have that healthy life. And all of us are different. For some of us, we need to start in the gym. But, a little secret, you can't outwork a bad diet.
That's
all
true.
right.
That's true.
So you can't outrun it. You can't out exercise it. All right. But for me, I didn't start in the gym. I started at the table.
Yes.
I was like, man, let me get this food right.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get the food right, which is the fuel that's fueling my body, guess what? After I got that down pat, I wanted to move my body. I wanted to exercise. I was feeling better, losing a little weight, and I wanted to move my body. So it's all like a puzzle, right? It's all a puzzle. And I believe your journey is beautiful, Mr. Tom. So kudos to you.
Yes,
keep on keeping on. Keep taking those steps, right?
Yes.
And there's no big eyes and no little U's on this journey. It's about you and making sustainable changes that you can continue throughout a lifetime, because this is a lifestyle. It's not about doing this diet today and then tomorrow, doing something else. It's about making sustainable changes that we can do for the rest of our lives, so we can have that abundant life that we were created to have.
It's not even about little steps or big steps,
right?
It's about making a step.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes, that's so true.
Yes.
Jody Rose,
hey, Jody.
What you got, Jody? Lots of good stuff to think about. Have to reevaluate what motivates me. Sometimes my motivation comes and goes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for motivating me to reevaluate.
Oh, you're so welcome, Jody. You're so welcome. And that's what this is all about.
That's right.
It's about the understanding of goals and the understanding of motivation and what it does for you. So it may have you to refocus, like you said, on saying, hey, instead of you saying now, I need someone to motivate you, you can sit back and say, hey, what are my goals for motivation? So now it's a different shift. Okay. And then through that goal would help you determine what type of motivation is needed to be successful at that goal. Right. So, it's just a shift. Okay. But it's all about knowledge and learning and understanding what motivation is. Then you set the goal, which drives the motivation. Then you can find out which motivation you need in order to be successful, whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic. And then you would set the drives and the motives to reach that goal. So it is wonderful once you begin to understand the pathways of how you're going to be successful based on the goals and what motivation you're going to use in order to create that success.
Yes, that's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Jody. Yes.
Jody Lynn, thank you so much.
Yes.
Appreciate your time and high quality insights on how to best motivate ourselves to create optimal health.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, I always say, they say knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is power. And I think when you know better, it helps you to do better. Doing better is hard because, you got the majority doing the opposite of what it is you're trying to do. And sometimes you second guess yourself, but, striving for health is always best. And unfortunately, sometimes that means you got to stand alone, right? And do it all by yourself and all of that. But the rewards will be worth it on the back end.
Something that Queen just said, she said that striving for health is always best, right? When we first became whole food plant-based, striving for health was not our goal. Our goal basically was first of all was what? To lose weight. Okay. And that was an extrinsic goal. Okay. However, through that extrinsic goal, go ahead, Queen.
I was going to say, I know you said it wasn't for health and it was probably more for losing weight, but
it was initially.
Even in losing weight, we knew we weren't healthy.
That's correct. But that was not the focus. The focus was to lose weight. We didn't know until later that we discovered that by losing weight, we would gain health. We knew that we weren't healthy being overweight, but we just didn't really put the two together. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Queen was talking about. When you have knowledge, applied knowledge is power, because you can have a basic understanding, but yet really don't know how the puzzles fit together. And then through life and journeys and through our process, we found out, wow, wait a minute. Here we are trying to lose 20 pounds. And the whole time we've gained 10 years of longevity of life. You see what I'm saying? So as we grow and learn, we become better, and then our goal shifts, right? So now we're not so much worried about losing the weight. We're more about gaining health, which is now, it's not so much now about an extrinsic goal, it's more intrinsic, okay, which shifts the whole dynamics of it, because it's almost like having one without the other. You know, you hear a lot of people say, hey, I'm overweight, but I'm healthy because my labs are good, my this is good, my that is good, you know, and that's what they're using extrinsically because it's tough to change. Okay, it's hard to change. And then especially with so much information out there, you don't know what to do to change. And then when you're trying to change, you don't know if that's helping you to change or not. Remember last week we talked about detoxing, right? A lot of people, oh, you just detox your body, just detox your body. And Dr. Kim brought out some very good, important points about detoxing and how it can cause an imbalance, right? And disrupt your homeostasis, which is balance. So you want to be careful, you know, but this is great. I'm enjoying this.
Yes,
I'm really enjoying
talk.
this.
Great talk.
I'm really enjoying this.
Misty Blue, let's see. How do I stay motivated to work out with ankle pain? Again, there we go.
Yeah.
The motivational triad, right?
Yeah.
Avoiding pain.
Yep.
Seeking pleasure.
Yep.
And conserving energy.
Yes.
All right. So you really don't want to work out because, you know, when you work out, it makes your ankle hurt. So we sort of refrain from it. And maybe that's your body way of saying, hey, I'm injured.
Right.
Don't do that right now. You know, so I mean, avoiding pain can be a good thing, right?
Right.
So in your instance, Misty, you know, I would be motivated to heal my ankle, right? So that you can avoid that pain, so you can work out. Which
is extrinsic motivated.
Yeah.
So remember that the you know, psychologists say that the primary route to motivation is to what? Minimize physical pain. That's one of them. That is the root of motivation. One of the primary roots. So if you're in pain, you're probably not going to do it. So there really isn't a way to stay motivated for exercise in that aspect. Now, what you can do is you could do a different type of exercise where the ankle is not involved. Maybe seated band work. Maybe something else that you don't have to put any pressure or apply any type of pressure whatsoever to your ankle until it heals. Okay. So there are other ways of motivation. So what we can do is we have workouts designed for you to use without your ankle. We even have a full band workout that will work your legs and everything while sitting down.
There you go.
All right. So that way we have other types of workouts and routines that will help you, that you can stay motivated to work out without further injury to your ankle or experiencing that ankle pain until you get better.
That's good. That's good. So just because your ankle is injured, that was good, Dr. Will. Don't mean you still can't work out. So we got to look at, find a way you can still, you know, exercise without putting all the impact on that ankle. You know, like you said, doing seated exercises and still get that body movement in, so you can maintain overall, you know, wellness.
And
relieve some stress and physicality and all of that. So so yeah, that was a good question, Misty.
Thank you, Misty.
We appreciate you all for joining us. I think we had Karen Moss joining us from Oregon. Hey Karen, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. And again, I always say time is money. All right. So we like to be time conscious. We had a great crowd tonight. We appreciate each and every. Good night, Mr. Tom. He's heading to bed, and we are too. But we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us. Again,
hey, sis.
if it is, yay, my sister is joining us. Hey, sis. If it is your first time joining us, go ahead and hit that like button.
Please.
Hit the subscribe button. Let's connect.
That's right.
Let's get healthy and fit and all that together and you know, renew our mind through information we share on Wednesdays and fun and home workouts.
Yes,
and,
on Saturdays.
Yes. And whole food plant-based recipes. And we all can do this.
Yes,
we can do this together.
Yes, we can.
By taking one day at a time, one step at a time, one move at a time, one body movement at a time.
One bite.
That's right, right?
Yes.
Right. So just remember this. Always remember, our health is our wealth.
Yes, it is.
Okay? Making healthy choices.
Yes.
Develop healthy habits.
That's right.
And our healthy habits, your healthy habits, will create the healthy life that you are worthy of having.
Yes, it is.
So let's all get to the root of obtaining and sustaining our health and our wellness by eating more plants.
That's right.
Okay. Moving our bodies.
That's right.
Stressing less.
Yes.
And loving more.
Yes.
And remember, motivation.
Yes. That's right.
Is driven by your goals. Right?
Your goals. That's
all right.
Next week, if you like what's going on this week, next week we're going to talk about what? Willpower.
All right.
Is it real or is it fake? And what do you need in willpower? How can you use willpower?
Okay.
So come join us next week. Willpower. Okay. All right.
And we ain't talking about Dr. Will, right?
No, ma'am.
All right then.
No, ma'am. Everybody say I don't have the willpower. Well, we're gonna find out what willpower is. Come on, join us next week. Get your questions ready for willpower. I don't have the willpower. Well, we're gonna see about that.
I have a solution.
I think Doc got something to share with you about that willpower.
All right.
Okay. So next week.
Great. Take care, everybody.
Have a good evening, guys.
Take care.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. See you Saturday.
Oh, yeah. See you all Saturday.
Yes.
Live. 7 o'clock Eastern Standard.
That's right.
Yeah, That's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Saturday for our fun in-home workout.
Fun in-home workout.
All
Come
right.
on, join us.
Y'all take care.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.